In today's video, I want to talk about seasons in business and also seasons in life. So personally, I go through multiple different seasons over a year where, I have very focused periods where it's just me, work, and long days, long hours, just, grinding it out basically. Also what, some people call monk mode. And then I have periods during the year where, I'll cut back on work a little bit, relax a little, socialize, see some friends. And so that's what I want to talk about in this video. And also want to talk about specifically why the two seasons we have in Dubai, summer and winter, why they have been super helpful, at least for me, in terms of maximizing not only productivity, but also overall just happiness. So I can get the most out of living here in Dubai, both, in terms of, personal life and also work. But if you're new to the channel, let me just introduce myself. My name is Rasmus. I'm the owner of Minix. That's a performance marketing agency where we specialize in helping e-commerce brands scale through UGC videos and paid advertising. Also, if you end up enjoying this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That would massively help me out. Also, if you have any questions after watching this video or any feedback, just leave it down below. I would love to read your comments. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I read all the comments and all questions and usually respond to, all questions that you leave down below. But with that being said though, let's get straight into it. So personally, I have 3 seasons I go through during the year. I go through a season of monk mode, I go through a season of like a slowdown, and then, vacation. So that's like the 3 seasons I really go through. And if you don't know what monk mode is specifically, I actually made a video about that because I did like a pretty intense monk mode last year in Spain. So go watch that video after this if you want to get a more in-depth understanding of what a monk mode actually is and what it can help you achieve. But you can kind of compare these 3 seasons to like sports just so it makes a little bit more sense probably. So I used to be a competitive swimmer when I was younger, so you can kind of see this monk mode is kind of like where you do the heavy lifting. That's where you like build your base. So after a vacation or something like that, if you're into sports, when you have a long time up to an important meet, like you go through a very prolonged period of just a lot of work, long training hours and stuff like that. That's sort of what monk mode is. Slowdown could be compared to like a tapering season, so you cut back a little bit and you sort of focus on different stuff than what you did during your big building phase, so to say. And then you have vacation after the meet where you just chill out, relax a little bit. So my 3 seasons during the year usually works pretty much like clockwork, and I'll get into why a little bit later in the video. But my monk mode specifically usually runs from around October till March. So it's usually like a 6-month period, 6 to 7 months, where it's just very deep focused work and I just have a lot on my plate. The slowdown period or tapering period is usually from like April until June, and then sometimes August as well. And then vacation is like July and Christmas. That's sort of when I'll take vacation throughout the year. Now, the reason why monk mode specifically is in this like Q4 to end of Q1 period is because there's just so much stuff to do. That's usually because we do a lot of performance-based deals, and that's how we make all our money nowadays. And we work with e-commerce brands. So Q4 always is the biggest time of the year in terms of just performance deals, because we just drive more revenue for our clients. And Q1 usually is very busy because now all the e-commerce brands basically are splitting with their previous agency because maybe the results were lackluster during Q4, or they're just looking for a change. So usually in these like 6 months, that's when there's just a lot of stuff to do. And doing monk mode in the north or in Scandinavia, you probably know it. If you have 4 seasons and your country is really cold during winter, you'll know this. Winters are so bad, like it's miserable. And so doing a monk mode during winter is just miserable in Denmark because it's cold, there's no sun, and so you feel kind of boxed in. And that's what I really, really disliked about living in Denmark and, having this big work period that I, just had to go through because there's a lot of business to be done and a lot of clients to attend to. It's just so bad because you spend 10 minutes every single day before you have to get out of the apartment or your house, just getting ready, and then you go outside and it's still cold as hell. And so I remember like quite clearly during the winter, like winter 2021, just before I moved to Spain, I was like walking to the office one day. It was like a 15-minute walk and I just hated it every single day. And I was so over Denmark at that point. I was about to slip, like I almost fell walking over some ice, slippery pavement, and like I just yelled out so loud because I was just so over it. Because you walk outside and like you would want to just be relaxed, but you're not. You're just super stressed and like frustrated because it's so bad outside. And then you walk into your office, you know, you have to get all your clothes off, and then you can get into work and then start working, right? And maybe there's some issues and stuff like that. It's just a lot of tension and a lot of friction that just builds up into this like frustration or like anger. It's just miserable. And so being in Dubai, you know, with winter season really helps me a lot, because winter in Dubai from like November till March, April is amazing. The weather is like super nice. That's the best time of the year. And so me being able to get like mental breaks during the day, you know, I can just go for a walk outside in t-shirt and in shorts, or usually I'll work out outside as well, or I'll go for a run or play tennis. Like I can do all these activities outside, not having to worry about the weather, because the weather is amazing. So that helps me a lot, just, you know, giving me some mental freedom, just allowing my brain to like take a break basically. So when I actually get back to work, I have more clarity, I have more mental energy that I can then divert into focus on my work, right? And get more stuff done. Me being in Dubai and doing my monk mode versus being in Denmark doing a monk mode, it just really increases not only my happiness but also my productivity. And that's also why when I talk to a lot of people that lives in Scandinavia, I know a lot of like business owners in Denmark, I always tell them like, hey, move out. Like, why are you in Denmark during winter? Because it's miserable. Like there's 4 hours of sun a day, and when there's sun, it's usually just gray, like -5 to 10 degrees Celsius. Like there's nothing to do. Like you're doing yourself a massive disservice. So why not just move to Spain for 6 months, get a tax break, and also like get better weather, because it will tremendously just increase your productivity so you can make more money, right? And so that's what I really like about being in Dubai. Now the second season I go through over the year is the slowdown, right? And usually that will happen quite naturally because businesses starts to like dry up a little bit. These majority of them have kind of like found an agency, and then, you know, they've signed a 3, 6 or 12 month agreement with them, so they're locked in, right? And so naturally when we get into like April or May, that's usually when my sales calls start to decline, the amount of sales calls I have during a day. And so my main function in the business right now is just being on sales calls for the most part of it. That's like my biggest active function, besides just, you know, making sure that everyone is doing their work, making sure that, you know, we're on top of things. So I'm really the sales guy in the business. And so when I don't have a lot of sales calls, obviously like I'll have to focus on something else. So during this period, it's usually when I like to just meet up with friends a little bit more often, agency friends and other business owners, just kind of network and be a little more social. But also I like to work on more high level activity, and it also just gives me like the mental clarity, because I don't have to, you know, just work in the business all the time. It gives me the mental clarity to just look at things and kind of reviewing, okay, how are we doing and what should we be focusing on next? Like what's the next moves we have to do, right? So right now, for example, me and Camilla, my head of creative, is looking at building some sort of course for content creators in South America to provide more jobs in that region. And so that sort of work is what I have more mental bandwidth to focus on and actually execute on during these like slowdown periods, and work just on different areas of the business to make sure that we actually grow, not only in terms of client base, which is usually what we do during a monk mode, but also like how do we increase our capacity and just making sure everything is in order, right? And the weather in Dubai during this time, I'm shooting this on May 8th. Weather's still pretty good. Like it's starting to get hot and humid, but like I can still enjoy a coffee most days at least with a friend outside, which is nice. So yeah, like Dubai here now is pretty good, especially compared to Denmark. Like April in Denmark can be very like hit or miss. It can be either like 15 degrees and everyone is outside and all the newspapers talk about summer finally coming along, but it can also be like 0 or -5 degrees. So it can be, there's a wide spectrum to Denmark during April, which is why Dubai is super good. Like April in Dubai is amazing. Yeah, weather still so far is super, super good. I'm assuming that in the next like 2, 3, 4 weeks, it's gonna start to get like pretty bad, but hey, we'll see. I'll keep you updated on it. Still much better than Denmark at least. Now, the last season is vacation time, right? And this is where the Dubai weather is actually amazing, like fantastic for me, because I usually just take a vacation whenever business dries up. So that's usually Christmas when everyone else is at home. And then there's just this worldwide consensus that during July, no one is working. Everyone is on vacation, right? Summer break, and also a little bit into August. But usually like July, there's just absolutely no business to be done. So that's also when I'll I'll take my time to actually take a few days, decrease workload quite a lot. I'm not the person that can actually take like a week or two just completely off. I think I would go insane, but I'll decrease workload quite a lot. And why Dubai is so amazing for this is because in Dubai during summer, the weather is just awful. Like it's too hot to be outside. And that's amazing because then I can get to travel, right? I can travel home, see family. This year I'm also going to Romania to see a friend, taking my team to Spain for a company retreat, going to Ibiza with my family. So that allows me to then, go enjoy life a little bit. Whereas when I'm living in Denmark, summer is like the best time of the year to actually be in Denmark. So you actually are not incentivized to actually go travel. So you're kind of missing out on that, right? Whereas in Dubai now, I'm super incentivized to actually go travel in July and also August because the weather is just awful. Like no one wants to be here, which is fantastic because there's also not a lot of work to be done. Everyone else is on vacation. So why not also go travel a bit, see the world, and yeah, just get some amazing life experiences, right? So it's kind of like the opposite of living in the north, because during winter in Denmark, you don't want to be there. In Dubai, you actually want to be here during winter, and it's amazing to get, your deep work done. And in the north during summer, you actually want to be there, and then you don't get to travel. But during summer here in Dubai, you actually want to travel because it's awful being here because you're probably just gonna melt, right? So having this weather that's kind of flipped on its head compared to back home is amazing because not only can I maximize happiness and productivity while I actually need to be productive, right? I can also maximize when I actually go travel because I get the best return on investment on it because no one actually wants to be here. Like it's a little bit of a shame to be living in a country like Denmark where you would want to on paper just travel during summer, right? Just to get like away from everything and take a summer vacation, but you're also missing out on the best part of Denmark, which is June, July and August. Whereas in Dubai it's the opposite. You're not missing out on anything. You're missing out if you weren't here during winter, but why would you move if that's your base, if that's your home, right? So yeah, that's how Dubai allows me to maximize everything in my life, basically from productivity to happiness to just overall fulfillment. And yeah, I hope you got some real value from this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below. I would love to answer. And if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure to give it a like, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. That would massively help me out. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.